Well, good day, viewers. Today we have a 2013 Suzuki Qashqai all-wheel drive. And it's here because the service engine soon, or check engine light, or malfunction indicator light, is on when it's running. And apparently they've checked it and it's something to do with the evap. I see it also recommends an oil change and there's no sticker on it. So we're going to scan it and see what kind of codes it has to offer. So this is a new vehicle, repeat customer, but a new vehicle for this customer. So the car should support auto ID. It's got 57,000 kilometers on it. That's not very much. It's an automatic transmission. And let's do a network code scan. Got the key on, engine not running. That's an interesting code. Cold start idle air control system performance. That's interesting. That's not an evap code. That was quick. It's a P050A. I never noticed any problem starting it this afternoon. I just drove it in the shop and it was cool. Lost communication with power steering control module, voltage too high. Somebody's had a battery charger on it probably. Engine speed malfunction. Passenger sun load sensor. So it's got some... Okay, let's have a look at if there's any freeze frame data to this. Probably under generic functions, freeze frame. Of course, if you clear the code, you're going to lose this freeze frame data. Sometimes it's valid to, or it's advisable to look at the freeze frame data for relevant information about the load and temperature. Engine speed 1295, throttle position 19%, accelerator pedal 14%, time since start 41 seconds, so that's pretty much on a start. I wonder what the temperature was. Intake air temperature is 24. Where's coolant temperature? Coolant temperature 29. So it was a relatively ambient start because it's been around that temperature the last few days. Doesn't say how long ago. Control module voltage 14 volts. Okay, well, that's not much help. So I'm going to clear all the codes from all the controllers, as the scanner keeps a record of them anyways. And then I'm going to do some research as to what generates that P050A code. Don't get too many Suzukis in here. Didn't clear the codes from the power steering. I wonder why. Electric power steering. Let's see the codes. Engine speed signal malfunction. Let's try clearing it this way. Must be off with ignition on, which it is. They're not complaining about any issues with the power steering. It's taking a while. Maybe it has to see engine RPM after. Engine is not running. Start the test again. Well, you told me to do it with it not running. I'm sure it said that. Okay, I'm going to start it. Okay, let's try clearing the code again. Let's see what it says here. Engine must be off and ignition on. And then you tell me to start it. Liars. Oh well. Let's look up that P050A code. Let's see if the troubleshooter has anything in it. Snap on. Codes, no troubleshooter for this car. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Unfortunately, this Suzuki Kizashi was sold only in Canada. So here we go again with lack of service information. Mitchell apparently has information because there's color wiring diagrams. But I'll do a keyword search for that and see if anybody's posted any cases on it. P050A. Somebody did. Came in with cold start idle air control system performance code. Check for anything that would make the engine run bad. Misfires, vacuum leaks, etc. If it only runs bad cold, check for leaky injectors, leaking head gasket, carbon valves, carbon throttle body. Code P050A will set if it had to open the throttle further than normal to keep it running. Well, that's kind of special. So we could clean the throttle body maybe? So we're looking under the hood. I've checked this air induction tube for potential cracks. You don't feel anything or hear anything or see any change in the way the engine runs when you flex this tube. The hose clamps are tight. The air filter is fairly clean. It's not perfect, but it's certainly not dirty enough to cause a problem. Mass airflow is running perfect right now. I'd sure like to see if there's any technical service bulletins on it. Maybe I'll see if I can log into Suzuki Canada. Well, this is going to be a struggle to get information because Suzuki left Canada in 2014. 2014 was the last model year that they sold anything in Canada. And I understand they left the US market in 2013 or something like that. So I can't find access to any service information. Google search turned up the possibility that there could be carbon deposits in the throttle blades, throttle body. So I'm going to clean the throttle body, clean the mass airflow sensor. Yeah, that's about it. That's all we can do. The code apparently sets if the computer has to open the throttle blade more than it figures is necessary given the desired RPM and the actual RPM. So carbon deposits in the throttle bore would account for that. So we're going to do that, but other than clearing the code and giving it back to the customer and letting them drive it, it's inconclusive at best. So there's the air induction off. As I said, the air filter is not that bad. So I don't think that's an issue. There's a hose clamp here, a hose clamp here. Like I said, I've checked the bellows for a tear, and there's a small PCV fresh air inlet hose here. See, it's liquid heated. And looking at the throttle body, it doesn't look that bad, but we're going to clean it. Can't even see in there. Use some combustion chamber throttle body cleaner and a toothbrush. And we're going to blow off the mass airflow sensor too. So I decided it'd be easier to clean if I took the 4 bolts that hold it on off, disconnect the electrical connector. As I said, it wasn't that dirty. There's a little bit of dirt in there. And we're going to clean off this gasket surface and put it back together again and see if there's a throttle body relearn procedure. So I'm in the engine control computer looking at what's available for bidirectional tests. We got actuator tests, but that's basically things like disabling injectors and turning the fuel pump on and off. There's no throttle body relearn procedure. It won't be in generic functions, and it won't be in ECU information. That's just the calibration numbers. So the only thing I can try is disconnecting the battery for several minutes. And that's under service resets. That's probably oil life. Replacing the vent solenoid fuel injector, plus replace, adjust intake manifold runner control, replace, reset fuel pump, ignition coil, replace, reset cooling fan. Nope. Unless it's available with a different scan tool, but it's certainly not available with this scanner. So the best I can hope to do with a memory reset is to leave the battery disconnected. So I have to go to town for a couple hours, so I'm going to leave the battery unhooked while I'm in town, and then we'll come back, hook it up, and evaluate it. Well, there it is, back together and running. I did do a service, change the oil and filter. Don't know what else to do but other than that routine maintenance and see what happens. Give it back to the customer and hope for the best. Thanks for watching.